So the international break is finally over, which means it's time to get back to FPL chat. And guys, in today's video, we're going to be looking at my FPL Gameweek 8 team selection. But of course, before we do get into that, let's have a quick recap of how the team performed in Gameweek 7. Alright guys, so as you can see, we managed to get 62 points in Gameweek 7, which meant I got a green arrow from around 1.3 million all the way up to 700k, which is really nice because it was my first green arrow in a long time, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, I was a very happy man going into the international break because I was sitting on a green arrow, which is really nice. But yeah, as you can see, let's start off with Starboy Saka. Starboy Saka absolutely smashed it in Gameweek 7, getting 16 points, and Arsenal won 3-1 against Southampton. And yeah, Saka getting the 1 goal and 2 assists was absolutely fantastic, man. He absolutely smashed it, and I really did wish I had the balls to go against Haaland and captain him instead. But yeah, at least I actually owned him, because there's a lot of people that actually transferred out Bukayo Saka for someone like Cole Palmer, who got nowhere near the points that Saka did in Game Week 7. But yeah, Saka was definitely the standout performer of this team. And then we have the double Liverpool defence, which I was really happy with this week because they got me a clean sheet away to Crystal Palace in a 1-0 win. Trent getting 8 points, Konate getting 6 points, which is absolutely fantastic. And I'm not gonna lie, man, I'm really loving the Liverpool defence. They've been absolutely fantastic this season, and I just think moving forward, I'm really happy to own Trent. I'm really happy to own Konate, yeah, because I think the Liverpool defence is just so good, man. They control games a lot more than they did in previous seasons, so I really do like those two as a pairing and as a double up. We also have Rico Lewis, who got 4 points. Even though Man City did concede 2 goals, Rico Lewis still managed to get an assist, which is absolutely fantastic. And then we have Raya in goal. All right, he conceded once again in an easy fixture where you would expect Arsenal to get a clean sheet, which is pretty unfortunate. But I wasn't too upset with that, because a lot of people, instead of having double Arsenal attack, they actually had double Arsenal defense. So because I had Kai Havertz who scored, and because Arsenal conceded, I actually feel like from that game alone in isolation, I actually got the best possible outcome for my team, which was actually Arsenal conceding and Kai Havertz scoring, because a lot of people, as I said, went for sort of Saka and an Arsenal defensive double up, whereas I went for Saka and Havertz and only one Arsenal defender. So in a weird way, I actually feel like Arsenal conceding was actually beneficial for my team setup. So yeah, I'm not too upset or angry with Raya for conceding that. But yeah, in midfield, we have Foden and Mbeumo Semenyo. Let's start with Phil Foden, because I know some of you guys might be against that pick. I know some of you guys might be criticizing me for picking Phil Foden, but look, I feel like it was the right choice for my team and my play style. I think it's a good player with a, with sort of a high potential, right? And he's a massive differential, so that's why I went for him. Unfortunately, he didn't get any returns. However, the positive is that he did play around 75 minutes and he did start the game, so I'm hoping he can start the next game as well, because if he does start the next game, I think Foden will be an absolutely fantastic pick. But yeah, Foden done nothing against Fulham, but as I said, I'm happy to own him from this point moving forward. Bryan Mbeumo, what really can I say about this guy, man? He's absolutely incredible. It's another game, it's another goal for Bryan Mbeumo. Yes, it was a penalty, but that's also why Mbeumo is such a good option in FPL, right? Because he's on penalties as well. He got 8 points, and yeah, he's just a great long-term option. I don't really need to say much. I think if you don't have Mbeumo, what on earth are you playing at? What on earth are you doing without this man in your team? It's that simple. But yeah, I will say though, although I was happy that Mbeumo did score against Wolves, I was pretty disappointed that he only got 1 return, because Brentford did score 5 goals. So for Mbeumo to only get 1 return is pretty disappointing, I'm not gonna lie, but nonetheless, he still got the job done, and I'm happy about that. So yeah, and then we have Anton Semenyo. Really disappointed, not gonna lie. He was playing against a relegation for the team, Leicester, away from home, and he blanked. Haaland captain, that's another big talking point. He flopped massively. Didn't expect it. Man City, if you told me Man City were going to score 3 goals, I would have expected Haaland to at least score, at least as a minimum, 1. So yeah, for Haaland to blank was pretty insane, to be honest with you. But as I said, he's going to be in my team from this point moving forward. So it is what it is. We move on. And then Dominic Calvert-Lewin, man, this guy is on extreme fraud watch, guys. I'm going to be honest. He is on extreme fraud watch. And look, I'm most likely going to keep him for another week because his fixture is so good. But he has to do better. He has to do better, I'm going to be honest. But one thing I will say is that, look, against Newcastle, I feel like he was pretty unlucky, because Guys, that should have been a penalty. I know some people may disagree, but in my opinion, that should have been a penalty. Yeah, in my opinion, it should have been a penalty. Is there a bit of bias there? Most likely, yes. But look, if that's a penalty, he takes the penalty. He most likely scores it, and I would have got some FPL points. But look, it is what it is, guys. Yeah. That happened a while ago. I'm not gonna lie, right? It's been an international break. It's been a long break. That happened a while ago. So we move on from that. Let's just focus on what we're gonna do from now moving forward. So yeah, that is a quick summary of how my team performed in Game Week 7, guys. Let's go ahead and move on to my Game Week 8 transfer plans. So as you guys can see, these are my transfer plans for Game Week 8. But I do want to let you guys know, I haven't confirmed these transfers yet. But I'm like 99% sure that I'll be doing these transfers for Game Week 8, right? And as you can see, I do plan to take out Kai Havertz for Solanke and Semenyo for Emil Smith-Rowe. Now, first things first, some of you guys may be wondering, why on earth am I taking out Kai Havertz, right? He's in good form and he's got a really good fixture against Bournemouth. But the reason why I'm doing it is because, look, I need to go from Semenyo to Smith-Rowe, but I'm 0.1 short by doing that move, right? So I need to free up some funds somewhere, and I plan to do that by taking out Kai Havertz for Solanke. Because, look, if I didn't take out Kai Havertz this week, I would certainly be doing it in Game Week 9 when Arsenal are playing against Liverpool. So essentially, I'm bringing that transfer just 1 week earlier than I planned to, because of the fact that I don't have enough money to go from Semenyo to Smith-Rowe in one move. So now that I've cleared that up, I just want to say as well that I do really think Solanke is a good pick nonetheless. Like, honestly, I actually think that Solanke playing against Spurs, playing against West Ham at home, could actually be a better fixture than Arsenal playing against Bournemouth away. West Ham have been one of the worst defensive teams so far this Premier League season, and Tottenham have been one of the best attacking teams so far this Premier League season, right? In terms of expected goals, as you guys can see, Tottenham are top, right? Tottenham are first place, and that's why, and that's just with stats, right? But stats aside, just talking about sort of what I've seen from Spurs, right? They attack. They have a style of play and they stick to it. No matter if they're playing with 10 men, 9 men, no matter what team they're playing against, Spurs like to attack teams, right? They like to hold the ball. They like to play with lots of possession and create chance after chance after chance. That's what I see from Spurs. And that's why I do like Dominic Solanke as an option, because I think he's the Spurs number 9 playing in a good attacking Ange Postecoglou system. I think he's going to get a lot of chances created for him in these easy fixtures that that Tottenham do have, right? Because Tottenham long term, right, in Game Week 8 they play against West Ham at home, which of course is a really good fixture. But after that, the fixtures for Spurs are really good, right? West Ham of course, but then Crystal Palace, Villa at home, Ipswich at home, and then City away, but then Fulham at home, Bournemouth away, then Chelsea at home, pretty tough, but then Southampton away. Look, I think Solanke could be a really good long-term set and forget option, right? So I just really do like him as a pick, and like I said, right, he's playing in that sort of Ange Postecoglou system. So look, I do like him as an option, and like I said, although it's probably not ideal for me to be taking out Havertz this week because he has a good fixture, at least I'm going to another player who plays for a good team in a good attacking system with a good fixture, right? So that's why I'm not too upset about the fact that I have to take Kai Havertz out, because I think Solanke is equally just as good as an option this week. So yeah, really happy with that, and like I said, I will most likely be doing that even though I haven't confirmed it yet, because I'm sort of just waiting for, just in case we get some injury updates over the international break in the next few days. That's why I haven't done it yet. But yeah, in terms of Semenyo, for me, Semenyo has to come out, right? Semenyo, the fixtures are really tough. The fixtures are really tough for Bournemouth. As you guys can see, it's Arsenal at home in Game Week 8, Villa away in Game Week 9, City at home in Game Week 10, right? He has to go. Of course, I've got Dibbling in my team, so you could say I could play Dibbling and bench Semenyo, but I just don't want to start a Southampton player in my team, even though he's playing against Leicester at home. So for me, I think Semenyo has to go. So with that being said, I think Smith-Rowe is a really good option. Now, some people may be doubting Smith-Rowe because of the fact that he got benched against Manchester City, but I don't think that's a cause for concern. I just think it was a tactical setup that in my eyes made a lot of sense, right? Because previously, up until the Man City game, Fulham were playing with sort of two number 8s. You could say Smith-Rowe and Andres Pereira, right? Or Smith-Rowe a little bit more advanced than Andres Pereira, but nonetheless, they were playing a midfield three of Lukic, Smith-Rowe and Andres Pereira. Now, that midfield setup just simply wouldn't work against Man City away from home, right? That midfield setup would get destroyed. It would get ran through. Man City's players would just run rings around that midfield pairing, right? So it made sense for one of Smith-Rowe or Andres Pereira to get benched for this upcoming game against City. And yeah, I wasn't surprised when I saw Sanderberg and Lukic together in midfield. And Fulham also played a 5 at the back formation against Man City as well. I mean, Iwobi was playing as a right wing back. So this isn't a setup that we're regularly going to see from Fulham. So I don't think it's a cause for concern with Smith Rowe. I think Smith Rowe will play the majority of games. And look, if you look at his fixtures, they are some really, really good fixtures in here, in my opinion. It's Aston Villa at home. Again, I think Fulham will play a 4 at the back formation in this game. Everton away, they'll go back to their normal system in a 4 at the back formation with Smith Rowe and Pereira in midfield. So I think Smith Rowe's minutes aren't a cause for concern. And quickly, before I do talk about the fixtures, if you look at Smith Rowe's minutes here from game week 1 up until game week 7, right, you can see there was a gradual increase and a gradual improvement of his minutes per match. So you can see in game week 1 63, then in game week 2 he got 68 minutes, and then in game week 3 71 minutes, then 72 minutes, then 83 minutes, and then 87 minutes, and then he got benched. So you can see there was a gradual increase in minutes per game here, which is why I do still think Smith Rowe is a good option. Look, his Fulham's record signing, I don't think the minutes are a cause for concern at all as well. So yeah, the fixtures are good. Like I said, Aston Villa at home, Everton away, Brentford at home, Palace away, Wolves at home, Spurs a little bit tricky, but then Brighton at home, and then of course here in game week 15 and 16 where he's got Arsenal and Liverpool. At this moment in time, I still do plan to keep Smith Rowe, but ideally I want to be in a situation where I can bench him. So look, for me, Smith Rowe would be a very long-term hold and a long-term option, which is why I do want to go for him, right? So I'm really happy with Smith Rowe. Of course, there is like McNeil, who I could go for, and McNeil does have some really, really good fixtures, but because I've already got Calvert-Lewin, I just don't want to double up on Everton attack. The thought of that just makes me cringe. I don't want to do it. I just simply cannot double up on Everton attack. I refuse to do that, right? So I think, look, Fulham are the better team. They're a better team than Everton. They've been really, really good this season, right? Marco Silva has them playing some really, really nice football. And I like the fixtures coming up. So for me, that's why I do plan to go for Smith Rowe instead of Semenyo. Like I said, you know, I could have gone for McNeil. I could have gone for maybe Buonanotte, Rodgers, but nah, I think Smith Rowe is the one for me. He's the player I want to go for. So with that being said, although I haven't confirmed these transfers, look, 99% sure I'm going to do that. Let's go ahead and move on to my Game Week 8 final team selection. Alright guys, so let's have a look at my Game Week 8 final team selection with those transfer plans in mind. In the goalkeeper spot, we've got David Raya against Bournemouth away from home, and then we've got a back three of Konate, Trent and Rico Lewis. I'm feeling pretty confident about this defence. I mean, Raya, although he hasn't got a clean sheet in the last 2 games, or in the last 3 games in fact, I still think this is a good fixture for Arsenal, and I'm pretty confident with Arsenal, because also away from home, Arsenal do pretty well for clean sheets as well. So yeah, pretty confident with David Raya, expecting a clean sheet there, so hopefully he does get the job done. And then we got the double up, the Liverpool double up against Chelsea at home, Konate and Trent. This is an interesting one, and this is a real interesting matchup because Chelsea have been one of the best attacking teams so far this season. However, Liverpool have been the best defensive team so far this season. So who's going to win, the defense or the attack? I don't know, but it's an interesting matchup nonetheless. Liverpool being the home team is good for me because look, I need that clean sheet. Am I expecting a clean sheet? If I'm being honest, probably not. Probably not. Do I think there's a possibility? Yes, of course. But in terms of sort of, if I had to weigh it up in terms of like percentage wise, I'd probably say I'm 65% in favour of Liverpool conceding, and then 35% in favour of Liverpool getting a clean sheet. That's how I would probably weigh it up, because look, Chelsea have been good going forward. However, Liverpool being a really, really good defensive team. But it's going to be interesting, man. It's a really hard one and a tough one to predict, if I'm being totally honest. But yeah, hopefully they can get the job done. Of course, I do actually have the option to bench Konate for someone like Mikalenko if he's fit, who's playing against Ipswich away. But if I'm being honest, Everton, look, although Ipswich aren't a great team, I think Ipswich being the home team favours them a bit more. And also, Everton haven't really been a great defence, a good defensive team so far this season. So I don't think I would want to bench Konate, if I'm being honest. And I also think Konate's actually got a better attacking threat than someone like Mikalenko, because Konate is so dangerous from those set pieces, right? So from those corners and those free kicks, Konate could definitely get in the score sheet, whereas Mikalenko isn't really an attacking fullback. So I think I'm just going to stick with Konate against Chelsea at home, and Trent as well against Chelsea at home. So yeah, hopefully they can get the job done. Hopefully if they can see that, I can at least get some attacking returns. But look, it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how Liverpool play in this fixture against sort of one of the top 6 sides that are in form, because yes, they played against Manchester United, but Man United have been crap this season, right? This is a top 6 side who are playing really good so far this season, so it's going to be really interesting, and I can't wait for this matchup, to be honest with you, because I really do want to see. This will give me very good clarity as to how much of a good defense Liverpool are, right? I don't really care in terms of like if they concede, yes, that's going to be annoying, but just in terms of how they restrict Chelsea and sort of how they restrict Chelsea from creating chances, I'm going to be very interested in seeing how they do on that basis. But yeah, nonetheless, I'm hoping they do get a clean sheet against Chelsea. Then we got Rico Lewis, who's playing against Wolves away from home. Now, what do I expect from this game? Look, Man City haven't been a good defence in terms of keeping clean sheets, but I mean, statistically, they've actually been a good defence this season. Obviously, last game against Fulham, right, they probably should have lost that game, but overall, over the course of the season, Man City have been a good defensive team, as I said, statistically, because they haven't been keeping clean sheets, but they have actually been restricting their opponents from actually creating a lot of chances. I feel like City have been pretty unlucky to concede in certain games so far this season. But look, Wolves away is a really good fixture for an attacker, but honestly, I think for a defender, it's not a great fixture. I wouldn't be surprised if Man City do concede in this game. You know, with the players like Cunha they've got on the break, players like Bellegarde if they do play him, or even Forbes. Forbes looks like a really good player. I think they've got him on loan. He's definitely someone to look out for because he's a very dangerous player. For also, you know, Cunha, Forbes, they can cause problems on the transition and on the counter attack. So look, I wouldn't be surprised if, honestly speaking, I wouldn't be surprised if Man City do concede in this game. But I'm hoping that Rico Lewis can provide the attacking returns, right? Because that's the great thing about Rico Lewis. He plays in a good advanced attacking position. So yeah, hopefully he can give me some attacking returns. But yeah, it's going to be a tricky game for Man City from a defensive point of view, right? From a point of view of just keeping clean sheets, it's going to be pretty tough for them to do that. But yeah, that's the defense. Overall, it's an interesting one, man. I'm just hoping for the best. That's all I can really say. But let's move on to the midfield. We've got Bukayo Saka, Phil Foden, Brian Mbeumo, and Emil Smith-Rowe. Now, guys, I'm feeling pretty good about this midfield. I'm not going to lie, right? And I want to talk about Phil Foden because this is the biggest talking point for me. And this is the player that I'm most excited to own this game week, right? In game week 8, for me, Phil Foden, he's got the best, along with Erling Haaland, of course, he's got the best fixture. I generally think this is a great fixture for the Man City attack. And look, although I said Man City might concede, I really do think they'll rack up the goals. I think they'll score 4, 5, 6 goals in this game. And I think Foden could just do an absolute madness. I'm going to be honest, guys. I wouldn't be surprised if Foden... Well, first things first, I do think Foden does start the game, which I want to clarify, right? I do think Foden will start, and I'm fingers crossed he does actually start, because although I think he'll start, we all know what Pep Guardiola is like, right? But yeah, assuming that Phil Foden starts, I think this man is going to be an absolutely incredible differential. At the time of recording, he's only like 5% owned, and like I said, Wolves... words cannot put it. Guys, Wolves have been one of the worst defensive teams, if not the worst defensive team so far this Premier League season. They've conceded the most goals, right? They've conceded the most goals in the Premier League so far this season. They've conceded 21 goals in 7 games, which is absolutely ridiculous. So if Phil Foden starts, knowing how good of a player Phil Foden is, knowing that Phil Foden is a bona fide, world-class, elite talent, player of the season last season in the Premier League, I genuinely think this man could rack up some goals and assists and get 10 plus points in this game week. And I just hope he can do that, because a lot of people have been doubting Phil Foden. A lot of people have been questioning why I've picked Phil Foden. But I just want to prove everyone wrong, because I've trusted my guts. I've gone with what I believe is right. So I just hope it does work out, man. And I think this is the week where Phil Foden can start his Premier League run, because like I said, Wolves are so poor. So yeah, man, I just think this is a great fixture for Foden to start his Premier League run and get into form. So yeah, that's my opinion on Phil Foden. I'm expecting a lot of FPL points from Foden, and I'm not going to lie, man, if he blanks, I would be very disappointed. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, we've also got Bukayo Saka against Bournemouth away from home. Again, a really good fixture for Arsenal. And look, there was a bit of doubt on Bukayo Saka whether he's fit to play or not, but I do think he'll be fit. Lee Carsley did confirm that it was just sort of a precautionary move to not play Bukayo Saka, and he actually probably could have made it to the next game. But yeah, Bukayo Saka felt a slight niggle on his hamstring. I don't think it's a cause for concern. I think he'll be ready for the next game for Arsenal because, like I said, Lee Carsley did confirm that if Bukayo Saka did stay with the England squad, he would have most likely been ready to play the next game. So I think there's nothing to worry about with Bukayo Saka, and I do expect him to play. And with that being said, I think he'll be a good asset to own in this game week against Bournemouth away. And then we got Brian Mbeumo against United at home. I don't really know what to expect from this game. I mean, I feel like Brentford are going to win. I feel like Brentford are going to score goals, but I just think Man United sometimes can be very, very unpredictable in terms of like when you expect them to lose or get battered, they don't get battered and they don't lose. For example, against Aston Villa, right? Everyone was predicting Aston Villa to absolutely smash Manchester United, and that just didn't happen. It was a 0-0 draw. Villa were pretty poor. So yeah, I don't really know what to expect, but look, Mbeumo has been so good for me so far this season, so even if he blanks, I'm not going to get angry because he's just been so good game after game after game. But yeah, like I think Mbeumo can definitely get a return in this game because Man United are poor, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if it ends like 1-0 Manchester United. I feel like this will be a low goal scoring game if I'm being totally honest. So yeah, I just think Man United are really, really poor, but they're just very, very unpredictable. So yeah, we'll see what happens in that game. And then we got Emil Smith-Rowe, man. The new transfer, of course, it's not confirmed, but I'm putting him in the team because I'm like 99% sure I'm going to do it. I'm sort of just delaying the transfer, as I said, just in case there's any injuries that do happen, or we get confirmation in press conferences about any injuries. But yeah, assuming everything's okay, Smith-Rowe will be in the side, and he's got a fixture against Aston Villa at home. It's certainly not the easiest fixture, but like I said, Smith-Rowe is a good long-term pick for me. So yeah, I'm hoping he can get the job done against Aston Villa at home. And look, I want to say this, man. Fulham have been a really, really good team so far this season. A really, really good team. So yeah, man, I think this is, again, another interesting matchup. Aston Villa also been pretty decent this season. Fulham have been pretty good this season. So yeah, it'll be an interesting game. And I'm just hoping that Smith-Rowe can get the job done, to be honest with you guys. But look, with that being said, that is now the midfield and the defense covered. Let's go ahead and move on to the front three. So to finish off the team in the front three, we do have Dominic Solanke, Erling Haaland, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Feeling pretty good about owning this front three. I think let's start off with Dominic Solanke, man. West Ham at home is a really, really good fixture. My prediction for this one is that Dominic Solanke will get 2 returns. I actually think he'll get 2 goals. That's what I'm saying right now. I think, look, West Ham have been really, really poor defensively, and I've noticed that, you know, quite early on, and I just think they're a team to target, right? I think West Ham are definitely a team to target, and I think if you own an attacker against West Ham, you should be pretty confident. You should be pretty excited to own that player because they are rubbish, right? So that's my opinion. I think Spurs will win the game. I wouldn't be surprised if the game ends like 4-0 or 4-1 to Tottenham, and I wouldn't be surprised if Dominic Solanke does get on the score sheet not once but twice. So yeah, feeling pretty confident there, man, and really excited to own Dominic Solanke, man. It's an exciting pick in my opinion. So yeah, man, I'm hoping he gets the job done, and as you can see, he's my vice captain as well, so that shows that I'm pretty confident about Dominic Solanke performing and doing well against West Ham. And then we got Erling Haaland, man, big boy Erling Haaland. Yeah, Wolves away is a great fixture, as I said, for Man City. It's a really, really good fixture for the attackers. Wolves are so poor defensively, and Erling Haaland is going to feast. He's going to be hungry for goals. He's a man that's, you know, blanked in. He's not scored in the last like 2 Premier League games, I believe. So yeah, man, he is a man that's going to be hungry for goals. And I think Erling Haaland, it's going to be like 2-3 goals for Erling Haaland. Simple as that, man. I mean, yeah, he's fantastic. We know how good Erling Haaland is. And as I said, Wolves are absolutely terrible. So I think Erling Haaland, wouldn't be surprised if he scores like 2 or 3 goals. He will, of course, be my captain. So yeah, man, that's all I can really say about the big man there. I think, look, if you don't own Erling Haaland, you should. I advise, for your own mental health and for your own health, just do not watch that Man City game, right? For your own sanity, do not watch that game if you don't own Erling Haaland, right? Because you're going to hate it. You're going to hate watching that game, Man City vs Wolves, as a person that doesn't own, as an FPL manager that doesn't own Erling Haaland for that game, honestly, because I think, yeah, it could get ridiculous. It could get nasty. It could get ugly. But yeah, we also have Dominic Calvert-Lewin against Ipswich away from home. It's a great fixture for Everton. It's a great fixture for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. However, I need Dominic Calvert-Lewin to perform because since I've owned him, he's done nothing, right? He's not got any goals, not any assists, not any FPL returns, right? This guy's done absolute niche, right? He's done nothing. So hopefully now, this can be the start of Dominic Calvert-Lewin's goal-scoring run. Ipswich is a really, really good fixture. Yes, I know it's away from home, but still this season, Ipswich have been one of the worst defensive teams in the Premier League, right? So it's a really good fixture for Everton. It's a good fixture for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Please, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, now's the time. I'm not going to be honest. I'm not gonna lie, right? I'm gonna be honest. You must. It's as simple as that, right? You must. You just simply must deliver now against Ipswich away from home. You have to. It's simple as that. It's as simple as that, right? Because it's a really, really good fixture. And as I said, Dominic Calvert-Lewin has blanked in so many games for me. So yeah, hopefully now Dominic Calvert-Lewin can get some FPL returns. But yeah, as you guys can see, that is the team for game week 8. My team looks pretty decent for this week. Feeling pretty confident. Hopefully we can get another green arrow. I would love to get another green arrow. So yeah, man, hopefully the team can do well. Let me know down below in the comments what your team is looking like for game week 8. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, smash a big thumbs up for the video. And as well, thank you for 1,000 subscribers as well, guys. I just want to say that. So yeah, like, subscribe, comment, share, whatever, I don't know. But yeah, hope you guys did enjoy. I'll catch you guys in the next one. But until then, I'm out. Peace.